Hey, what's up? So, I'll explain in a minute what the heck I'm trying to do. Once a few more people have showed up. There's this there's this brutal bug that is hitting a lot of big countries. Can't figure out why. Um, I'll show you. Yeah, I've got a little time to mod and stream today, but um, I kid the kids most of the morning and will again in a few hours. So in the meantime, I want to fix this freaking awful bug. There's this such a weird bug here where these big countries. Here, I'll show you. They're spending money and going into debt in the first couple of months. I have no idea where the frick it's coming from. Play as Ireland. Yeah, I'd love to just get a game stream going at some point. We're trying to get ready for release now. Yeah, see, so somehow they're magically getting tons of stability. Somehow they're magically losing massive numbers of dip points, and then they're also going into debt. So WTF. It's happening in a lot of places too. I have no freaking idea why. Because even Castile, see, they and their stability went up. So the bubble stream, yeah. Sure, Ellie will barge in at one point and make me play bubbles or something. Yeah, that is. Yeah, Cowboy Dang is the weirdest freaking thing. Like right out of the gate. So I'm like, what? What could be the issue here? Now here's the thing. Like, technically, all of these interactions are disabled, but the AI may be getting through to them, and for some reason they may be chaining one of the offer favors. So you know how there's an offer favor that gives you that costs dip points, you spend money, and then you give a gift. You know, that could be it. Yes, yeah, Cowboy Dang. That's my suspicion too. Actually, there's a way we can test that. Yeah, sending gifts to the nobles. Right. So let's go to the Mamluks since they're the worst case. The problem is a lot of the important variables aren't set at this point yet. So let's see. So we may have some rogue event which is making them human equals yes. Mamluks. Okay, so let's look at the stability points to make sure that they were gained. Holy shit, did they gain a lot of stability points? Right, so we can see that they gain stability with points, which means there wasn't a broken scripted function that allowed them to pound on the disabled stability button. So it's definitely. Oh yeah, what do you mean, Mr. Dano, that it was different? So, cat, seriously. Okay, sit, cat. Don't claw me. Okay, so. Ouch! Cat. Let me get rid of this cat. Go away, cat. No, don't hide. The cat will be back. Yeah. Chairman Meow. This is the cat. And she is evil. Battery called bubbles. Okay, so here we have a really easy way that we can test this, right? I can move my T out of the way, go to events, and then we say state interactions goodbye. If they're gone, they can't be used. What sound in the background? That's why you bring cats to Chinese restaurants for a free meal. Oh yeah, Mr. Dano. It's yeah, there's a lot of complexity layered onto vanilla's own complexity. The thing is, I wish we could remove a lot of the vanilla features because a lot of them don't really fit in with the design philosophy of the mod. That way, a lot of the vanilla features that have been piled on over the years don't complicate things. Soundproof walls. Hey man, just moved in. Okay, so let's. So we deleted the interactions. Now let's see. Observe mode, let the startup events clear. Why would anyone ever think that Mega VHS could be Brazilian? Yeah, Pavel. Imagine if you had direct access to the game engine. Yeah, that would be glorious. That's why, like, when I talked to Paradox, I kind of felt the situation out to see if they'd be willing to lease their game engine or whatever. And yeah, they didn't seem to be terribly enthusiastic about the notion. Okay, so we somehow got one stability, but we didn't lose the diplomatic power and we're not in debt. So I guess that must be the issue somewhere. Let's go to Castile, see if they're somehow they got a bunch of stability. And somehow France got a bunch of stability. WTF. And somehow everyone got stability somehow. Why is this happening? Taurus, there's no way you have to push innate fertility. Yeah, Peter, Magnamundi really left a very bad taste in Paradox's mouth. Interestingly, though, Sham, when I had my private meeting with Sham, the product director guy who takes all of the pitches from independent developers, he mentioned how he would love to find a way for modders and Paradox to collaborate in a more direct fashion. I don't know how. Like for instance, modders would make DLC, and then you would split the revenue, that kind of thing. And so you would end up having tons and tons of DLC that you could choose from. Yeah, Magnamundi's story was totally bonkers. Yeah, Fez Delec, we're going to be... I think Sun Wu may have already blown up the whole magnate issue. And we're thinking about turning it into a privilege or a rights or something like that the nobles can acquire. But for now, I think we're just nuking it because it's generating too much confusion. So why did we suddenly end up with tons of stability? I guess it's not a huge issue. I don't like stuff coming out of nowhere from nothing. So stability points. Okay, so it's not coming from the stability that they're getting isn't coming from anything pop related. Let me check on the whole magnate thing. Channel. Hey guys, did anyone remove the magnate locking alliance thing? Yes. Yeah, the idea is eventually to give greater nobles rights, or something that's like privileges but deeper. So, for instance, their ability to have their own private armies, right? Most estates would start with that in most countries. The ability to build their own fortifications, and the right to be able to block the monarch from doing certain types of things, right? That's actually something we need sooner than later, because there needs to be a way to stop your nobles from building levies so that they can focus more on economic activity and stuff like that. Okay, so I gotta focus. So yes, so the issue is interactions, specifically the demand gift interactions. So it's being called from somewhere early in the game before the calculations are done. So I think what it's doing is it's defaulting to absolutely outrageous values, and therefore, that's why we're seeing this bug. It's also, there was this strange bug too, where the Mamluks were building new units and then deleting units, and then building new units and then deleting units over and over and over again, and they kept taking out loans. Anyone who was watching my stream a few nights ago noticed the Mamluks like inexplicably went bankrupt, and it's like, what? And that's partially due to that fact. Okay, interaction. Oh no, I deleted the interaction. Derp. That means I have to restore. Discard changes. Discard changes. Okay, this is the repository. I haven't committed any of my changes. I just deleted those files, and then I was able to restore the changes that I've made. Okay, so I needed to take a look inside the file. And let's see, the favor, was it? That's privileges, favors. Okay. So this is getting called from somewhere. Let's find all of the places that it could possibly be called from, and then we can determine which one is the culprit. Yeah, Cowboy Dang, the bug only seems to be pronounced for larger powers, but I think that has to do with the fact that with the weight of their estates. You know what I mean? So I think it's happening to smaller countries, it's just very muted. So Castile is relatively big, so it used a lot of diplo points. And then Mamluks are really big, so they used even more. Peter Weiss Hansen, could it be due to jizya tax coming in once a year, making them think that their income is temporarily larger? Now, jizya tax, I tested that quite a bit. From their perspective, jizya tax is simply like money they would get from an event. And it's not very much money. One suspicion I did have, Peter, was I was thinking maybe what was happening was there's a flood maintenance modifier that takes money for flood maintenance, and I think it was appearing, driving down the income. So then they would delete some troops, but then the algorithm that determines whether to spend money on floods or not then was removed. it decided it should remove the modifier, which so that, long story short, that the income was gyrating up and down, but it didn't seem like enough to make them. It was like literally they had their army here. They would delete 2 soldiers. They'd recruit 2 over here. They'd walk all the way to Cairo. They'd consolidate. Then they would delete 2. Then they would recruit some more. And then it just was like a Congo line. And the whole time they were willing to spend their way into debt in order to raise troops that they then were just going to delete. It was something about my hair. We have to do something. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see. Okay. There. Is that beautiful enough for you? Yeah. Oh, it feels so sexy. Ah. Eh? Okay. Pel definitely wasn't fluctuating force limit. We'll check that. So we'll fix this bug first, and then we'll try and figure out that second bug. A lot of people were mentioning that some countries were going inexplicably bankrupt, and so I think a lot of people have been encountering neutered AIs because of these particular bugs. Okay, so we're going to figure out state interactions 0.003. So here are all the places where it's referenced. State menu wouldn't be this. This is Flopsy stuff. Global AI decisions could be here. And it's there's only really one place. Wait a minute. Okay. So has country flag center of universe. So it would kick in. It would kick in immediately after the startup events, which is what's happening. And it hasn't set the modifier because it's set in the beginning. Let's try this. Is year 1359. See what happens. That could be the culprit. Back to comments. I assume that the event was supposed to give that. I've had weird settlers millions of times. Oh, when I played, I got +1 settler increase from an event. Yeah. Hey guys, yeah, by the way, anytime you get an event which is funky, type this into your console, debug mode, and then get the event ID and then bring it up with me or some of the other devs, and then we can hone in directly on the event that's the culprit. There's a lot of weird stuff that happened as of 1.21, the paradox patch. Lots of stuff. So we're still kind of cleaning up after that fiasco. That was the mod that made me question being a modder. Yeah, Mega VHS, the idea is to have a way to reduce levies, noble levies. That's what I was talking about earlier about the estate rights. And so every estate will start out with rights, and they'll be a lot harder to remove. They'll be like harder versions of privileges. And so levies, you'll be able to remove the right to have their own armies, remove their right to build their own fortifications, things like that. Okay, so we got the MAMs. Fixed, I think. We're still spending a bitch load of money, but let's see. Building over their force limits, awesome. Okay, well that's good. That's encouraging. All right, so Bug fixed. Let's see. Hey guys, I have a problem in my game. During the loading screen, my game crashes. More specifically, when it appears initializing map logic. Sounds like... I mean, are you using a Mac? Are you... Looks like other people are answering that question. Yeah, that's probably... Previously, Castile was driving itself into bankruptcy. And they started out as a basket case. But they shouldn't be going bankrupt that often. For some reason, we had disabled bankruptcy in the function so that it couldn't be done. Because the AI was having a habit of willfully going bankrupt. And this isn't even supposed to be possible. Of course, the penalties are outrageous too. But that's not my thing. Okay. See if Mamluks rack up any loans in the next couple of years. And if they don't, then that's an improvement. Demian, there is a thing where I get a bunch of free troops to account for the new force limits. Yeah, Cowboy, that does happen sometimes, but this was a perpetual issue that was happening later in the game. But yeah, if they end up disbanding down because of the extra troops in the beginning, that's not a big deal. The issue is when they do it in 1971, and then they drive themselves into bankruptcy. What kind of bribes do you need to buff the innate fertility of Denmark? Scandinavia just didn't have all that much population, unfortunately. And people are even complaining that Sweden has too much. But I'd like to sooner than later, integrate the canal system and dam system and the edicts as well, which allow you to encourage people to clear land or improve farming efficiency. Yeah, Kazarius, that's a good idea. You might as well wait until 1359, which is the deadline I put, so we can check to see if, for some reason, the AI uses those abilities again and screws themselves. So we're getting there. 1358 always chugs along like crazy. Denmark's not too bad. Anyone that was watching yesterday's stream will notice that we had some extreme trade imbalances that Peter, thanks Peter, pointed out. Mega VHS, that's another good idea. That's a really good idea. I'd love to get edicts like that, And we get back to the whole issue of training AI, though. And in order to do that, we need to give AIs proper emotions. Yeah, the whole 2K income thing. That was absolutely asinine. Hey, Esteban Funk. Policies, too. I mean, policies from a broader perspective. You'd like to reintegrate. All right, we're good. And Jesus. Capital building maintenance is pretty brutal. Flood control, it's really... Oh no, flood control isn't that bad. I wonder if wonder if we're better off demoting this Capitol building because it's just too. Country's not really big enough to sustain it. Please make France stronger. So here's the thing: like France and Mamluks in these big type countries are going to do much better once they properly utilize stuff like this, right? Once they're able to lean on their estates a bit more at discrete moments, right? Because now, I mean, look at the influence it made on their income, right? Same is true for France. Okay, so first order of business is let's go ahead and work on those AI emotions. That way I can properly train the AI to effectively use interactions. Let me pull up what we had yesterday. All right, these were the emotions we were interested in building first. Oh, you caught it. I mean, daughter dropping some sick beats. Okay, so we wanted laziness, self-improver, self-conscious, and shame. Specifically these, what we have to focus on first. That's already dealt with, sorry. That was originally meant to just be a developer diagnostic tool that, because I was at PDocsCon upon release, I didn't have a chance to, I didn't have a chance to change it. I tried to do it at PDocsCon on our computer, but it was never committed. So I gotta figure out a place to drop these AI decisions. They have to be in a file. Let's see, where's it appropriate? I could just make a new file. Yeah, why not? For all you people who wanna see what it looks like to make a new file. So what I usually do in these cases is I will open up something like this, and then I'll make a new file and then use what I have here as a template to speed things along. So pop AI emotions. Okay. Okay, so we're going to deal with emotion. So instead of, what we're going to do is we're going to change all references of pop test events to pop AI emotions. We're going to replace all in the file. Then we're going to purge these other events here because we probably don't need them yet. And we don't need many options because this is all going to be like a maintenance event, right? Oops. This is going to be a maintenance event, and so no one's necessarily going to be making any choices. We're being a therapist to the AI, and they're telling us how they feel, and we're going to get in touch with their emotions. So I don't think anything is even going to be done in options. Everything is going to be done in immediate. Okay, anyway, I'll be right back, okay? Okay. now we are going to pull up the emotions in question. Well, let's just comment out so we don't accidentally break anything. Okay, so we're going to stick them down here so we have a reference. Well, let me think. So this event is going to be called probably from another census event of some kind. It'll be fired with like a 1 or 2 day delay, so it doesn't, too many calculations don't come through all at once. And so what we want to do is we want to check and calculate criteria, a weighted criteria to see if an AI ends up adopting any of these emotions. The first thing we obviously need to do is, country flag. By the way, we'll keep emotions as country flags. I guess if we kept them as a variable, you could have a depth to the emotion, but that's kind of getting needlessly complicated at that point. So we preemptively remove all flags whenever the calculations are due. Oops. Self-conscious. Shameful. Hot code. Broken code is the best code. I told Thomas, hey man, what are you doing? How'd you find out about this? Alright, so let's make some room here. So now we want to let's prioritize self-conscious and shameful, because we really need to be able to deal with corruption here. So if limits, we need some criteria for self-conscious and shameful. Self-conscious is when there is a bit too much corruption, and the AI needs to start prioritizing reducing it. Shameful is when there's just way too much corruption, and so the AI needs to like stop what it's doing, stop any kind of external ambition, and then focus purely on corruption. So these emotions here are mainly going to be for informing the AI when they should be concentrating on revoking privileges and reducing corruption. Okay. So we need some criteria. And let me clear out a few things here. We're getting a bit messy. Modifiers, core modifiers. Global AI decisions, colonial growth. Okay, so what we really need, where is the estates variables here? Oops. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to dig into the corruption variables and use them as a criteria to determine as we don't want to just check corruption, because if we just check corruption, that's something that can fluctuate. We want to focus on the sources themselves, because that's what matters in this case. Let's see. So did I calculate some kind of aggregation variable? I don't know. So here you can see this is the corruption that comes from each individual type of corruption source. So for instance, privilege corruption GN is ultimately what determines up here the greater noble's corruption level. And so on and so forth. Well, Cowboy Dang, I mentioned this yesterday. Is it prudent to have these emotions be dictated essentially by corruption levels? Um, no, well, not just corruption levels only. We want to have a variety of variables, presumably, um, but we'll have to figure that out as we go along. Uh, Privilege GN base. I can just make an aggregation variable. Privilege base. Yeah, let's just make one. So we're going to set a new variable. Before we go on, let me make sure. Thinking. Catching up the comments too. Privilege corruption BU. Let me check the save file real quick. So the gross amount of corruption we have 75 plus 0.29 plus 23. Yeah, Mega, I agree. It needs to be on privileges as opposed to corruption. Because corruption, gyrates, you could offer a favor. But this right here represents corruption source. But I think roughly 0.05. Let's find the equilibrium point here. Oops. Add corruption 30? Hold on, let me pull up console commands. Oops. U4 console commands. I need to figure out how to add corruption again. Corruption. Just corrupt. Oh. Alright, well. Corrupt 30. Let's make a month go by, and then let's see. Okay, so corrupt 20. You'll see what I'm doing here in a second. Yes, go away, go away. Okay, that's good. So, because I'm bad at math. Let's see. So 75, 29, 23, 1.2, 1.27. Okay, so if you have total corruption source of 1.27, you get roughly 20 corruption. That's the equilibrium point you can see here. Sabotank, about idea. Can you change one national idea at a time by event? I don't think so. Okay, so I wanted to check a save real quick. I get 0.75 from Greater Nobles. Equal, yes. Privilege corrupts. So yeah, seems about right. So if I aggregate these together, So I just 20 equals around 1.25 corruption source. So that means that when we're making a check here, we base it off of the total corruption source. And that determines whether the AI needs to take any action, right? It gives it the emotion which will make it want to take the actions. These emotions are important because when state events end up getting in, I want to be able to have a shorthand to inform all of those events without making a gazillion checks, right? So these emotions almost serve as a scripted effect that you can easily use along with other team members, when programming the AI to do different things. Have you fixed colonization yet? No. I want to. But my brain right now is very intimidated by it because there's a whole lot of code that isn't mine. And so it's like I have to do like a whole rework of the whole damn thing, and I know I have to do it to fix the innate fertility issue, but this is important too because the AI is really hamstrung at the moment. And I'm not intimidated by it at the moment, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, what was I doing? Right. I was making an aggregate variable of all these guys. Let's just pull them down here for reference. Okay, so which equals privilege, corruption, aggregate. Quotes annoy me. That's a Desmond thing. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm deleting these anyway. Okay, so now we are going to change variable. Okay, so we're setting this to 0. We're declaring, I guess that's the right computer science term, declaring that this variable that should exist. And then we're going to change it repeatedly. So we're going to change this variable 4 times based on all of these values. So it's taking all the different corruption sources, putting it in one big source for us to use in other calculations or analysis. So now we should have a nice aggregate variable. Let's make things... I'm a bit of a OCD when it comes to 3D formatting. There. Okay. There is our aggregate variable. Let's see. Ample, not amble. Nathan Preeb. Okay, well, thank you for bringing that up. I'll use the magic of the computational machine and scramble. Seriously? Huh. I do not see. Am I searching the wrong documents paradox? No. Oh, I thought you meant something else. Wow, I just had an old fart moment. I just wasted a whole bunch of time because of something somebody said. Okay, I thought you were referring to something else. Anyway, I really need to get my genocide fixed. Please fix colonization. Yeah, there's too many. Yeah, mega VH. There's too many Jews in Grenada. Okay, I think I'm at the bottom of this. It's in the notepad. Don't panic. Juho, they are scaled with a state influence. That is correct. Hanson, it's in your new file. Yeah. Over here someplace. Amble. Okay, I'm gonna fix it. Watch. There. All fixed. Now I'm just gonna wait for all of the shrieking in chat. Yeah, Kian, base carrying capacity doesn't change, but you can raise the land under cultivation long term. There's just the more you raise land under cultivation. Think of the base innate fertility as the anchor force on all of your population growth. But if you take Ireland Big League, it can be significantly larger than it would be in other games. But it's never going to be the Nile Delta. It's never going to be the Yangtze Delta. Oh, you gotta. I mean, you spent so much time looking for Amble. Your kid has rebelled. He's full metalhead, burning churches in Sweden. Amble's in Okay, yeah, there is quite a bit of spam. I'm gonna try and focus on the task at hand. And as I'm really determined to purge all fun from this stream and lose as many viewers as possible. Okay, so I have my aggregate variable. Now let's use it. So let's just set some notes here. Set a little index so that we remember. So 1.25 equals 20. Do a little math here. So bad at math. I hate math. Oh yeah, Tool, I just got your text, if you're still listening. Yes, I did give a speech. It was awesome in Sweden. The experience was great. We'll tell you more about it later. Yeah, actually my speech, we'll be posting that sooner than later, I think, and you can watch it. I made lots of funnies and jokes, and people laughed. It was great. Uh, 0.625 should equal around 10, I think. $1.875 equals be about 30, and then we should add what 2.5 should be about 40. So Demian blocked me then? I didn't block you. I don't think I did. Should I block you? Well, Denmark objectively is better than Sweden if you just look in game. I see you, Krill. I'm not centering you. Set fun multiplier to 0. It really is a lot of spam. Peter, there's a better way of thinking about it. I'm bad at mathing though, so go easy on me. Wait, just in that range. Well, this is close enough. It's gonna change a bit too, so I'll have to revise it. But when the AI gets into that neck of the woods, they need to start feeling self-conscious and shameful. So question is, what else should be involved with the AI feeling self-conscious? What other long-term variables would weigh on the AI? So aside from corruption, long-term things that are bad. Corruption really is like the biggest long-term thing, but I mean, there's stability issues, right? There's legitimacy issues. There's being like crazy behind in tech, right? That can be a difficult criteria though, because different parts of the world are going to be low on tech at different moments, right? Peter, hi Twitch. I'm not always looking at the chat because then I'd never get anything done. So I try to kind of hone in on the people who give feedback as far as modding goes, and that tends to be the first priority. Empur, what is the weird thing that you're noticing? Yeah, war exhaustion, manpower. Yeah, manpower. Peter, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. Hold on, wife is calling. Hey. I'll figure something out. We can figure something out. I'm streaming at the moment, so you get that. What's that, Ellie? Ronnie? She is, yeah. Well, let me get back to the gym.
See the office. Now, the motor is this chair. You want to sit in this chair?
Okay. Hey. I've been usurped. All right, Ellie, you want a mod? Yep. Okay, go ahead. Go mod.
So, move the mouse.
You're moving the mouse.
Where'd the mouse go?
Oh, where did the mouse? Oh, there it is. See? Yeah, see? See, now you're modding. Yeah. You're going to make things that people like to play. Yeah. Who's that?
I'm Buddy.
Yeah, you're Ellie. I know. That's you there. Isn't that
I is my favorite.
I is my favorite.
I is my favorite.
Okay.
You what happens? What to buy the pony?
No, I knew you'd ask for My Little Ponies. What about maybe, let's see.
Pinkie Pie Adventure. Pinkie Pie Adventure.
You want Pinkie Pie Adventure?
Pinkie Pie Adventure.
Pinkie Pie Adventure. Oh, you want to sit in this chair?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're playing Pinkie Pie Adventure for a few minutes. Okay. Want to plug? Oh, what are you unplugging? Oh no, that's the off button on the computer. There's not going to be any Pinkie Pie Adventure if you hit the off button.
Hey.
Oh wait,
Where
tech.
the headphones go?
Yeah, headphones are down there. Tech. Let me document this real quick so I don't forget Peter's idea. Tech relative to neighbors. That's good. So guys, think about stuff like that, right? How, long-term quality issues that a country has relative to their neighbors, right? So corruption, tech relative to neighbors. I know we're playing Pinkie Pie. Okay, don't look at me like that.
Cheese.
Cheese. Okay, say cheese.
Cheese for Pinkie Pie.
Cheese for Pinkie Pie. Okay. All right.
Cheese.
All right, we're going. We're doing Pinkie Pie adventures.
Okay.
My Little Pony.
Cheese. Cheese.
Bubbles, all right. You sure you don't want to play the Bubbles game?
Nope.
Nope.
I need My Little Pony.
You need My Little Ponies. Okay.
My Little Pony. You are a chickabee, My Little Pony.
That's the pop filter, not the microphone. Okay, let's find Pinkie Pie adventures here.
And you take a microphone.
You need to teach that girl how to spell. Yeah, it's like retro. Okay, yeah, we're gonna play My Little Ponies. Oh my god, it's gonna be a seizure. It's a platform. Oh, who do you think we're gonna find here? There's some pretty detailed level design here. Aha! No! Oh, look! She's kind of small. Yeah, we're gonna find Rainbow Dash. Wow. Let's get through this as fast as we can. Wow. Wow. Oh no! Ah!
Pinkie Pie.
No, Pinkie Pie fell. Oh no,
Pinkie Pie again.
Oh, Daddy's a noob. That's why you don't write. That's why you just gotta take it slow. The game is so hardcore. Ah. Okay, we're gonna do it. No. So we're going up into the sky where Rainbow Dash is. It's funny, like the things that like kids will get excited about. Like, there's always a pony at the end of the level, so that's like the whole reason you should play is to get to the pony. Ooh, that's unhappy music. Oh. Wait a minute. Did I just... Oh, wait. Here it is. Here gotta be it. Yay! There's Rainbow Dash! He's kind of small, too.
And we find
Who are we gonna find here?
Tiny Chocolate.
Oh, you think Twilight Sparkle maybe? We'll see. Oh, who's that over there? Yeah, dancing. Look! The pony's dancing. Pinkie Pie fell. Oh, no. Dude, I don't think you have lives in this game, so you can just kind of fail all you want. No! Ellie, when you clicked, it didn't let me move. Ah, it doesn't. Ellie, you gotta let go of the mouse. Yeah, you gotta let go of the mouse. You gotta let go of the mouse. Okay. Okay. See now you. Oh no! What's happened? Okay. Yeah. See, when you push down on the mouse, it makes Pinkie fall. Oh my goodness. Oh god, no! What's happening? Here, let's play a game you can click, okay? Yeah. Okay.
We'll do this.
Okay, how about... Let's see. God, they all look the same.
We'll do this.
I want to do... Oh, the...
The bicycle.
That's kind of creepy. Oh, wait, I know. We gotta find the one that we can click. What looks like one we can click?
Click.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Ooh, what about... You want to play Terraria? No? You want to play ponies?
Click. Why is a pony?
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of... It's like Camelot Siege. This sounds more like it.
We'll do the rainbow.
Well, this looks complicated. Okay.
Rainbow.
So,
The rainbow.
what is going on? Okay. So, yeah, so you're setting up ponies. This may be just a little bit too complicated for you. Ooh, what's that? I don't know. Can we move them? I guess I should have. Oh, I just sold my pony. Okay. Oh, call the next wave. Here they come. Oh, I see. It's like a tower defense. Oh, I see. I guess I should not have set my therapy up here. Oh yeah. So seems like Durfee is like way OP.
We'll do this.
Yeah, I figure this is probably way too complicated for you. Here, let's go back. Let's go back. Go hang out with Nana for a while, and then when Mama gets home, then we'll. So. Okay. All right, come on. We'll play more later, okay?
Where you go?
Oh wait, let me say bye to the people on the internet.
Bye.
Bye up there. Say bye. Say bye.
Bye. Did you say huh?
Come on now. Okay. New battle mechanics finally. Tactical battles. Alright. So, what were we doing here? When they said Cap was going to be different than you, I didn't think that great of a difference. Yes, it wasn't Ellie playing the My Little Ponies games because obviously, well, there is a tic-tac-toe game that she can play. Most of the others, yeah, imagine 10 to 15 years Ellie seeing this, yeah. It's gonna be, like, what the fuck were you doing, Dad? Okay. Alright, so, other things, go ahead and guys mention again, other things, other than corruption and tech. Uh-oh, somebody's not happy. Uh-oh. Ellie. Hey.
Dad has to work.
Come on. No, I guess I don't really have to work. It's Friday. Oh, okay. Okay. Hey. I know you want to play games. Play later, okay? Mom gets home. Okay. Be good for Nana, okay?
Yeah, and
And we'll
that's
go
it,
out to the
that's
pool,
what it is,
too.
and then once she starts bleeding, then you can.
Oh, it's fine. Hey, we'll go out to the pool in a bit, okay? We'll go out to the pool in a bit. And we'll get
Want
some.
to check Maya? Maya, you still sleeping?
Mom,
Yeah. Sure. I'm in the middle of a recording with like 100 lots of people watching. Yeah, that's what I do right now. All right, I'll stop streaming. Oh.
Feel good?
I think so, but not gonna. Yeah. The other state. Exactly. All right. Okay, so that should be good for a while. All right. So things other than corruption and relative tech to neighbors. Thing is, we have to actually calculate this variable on a regular basis, which shouldn't necessarily be too difficult. Is there check against peers? That's a good idea, Peter. The only hang up is if you don't have any peers nearby, what you default to. Let me disaster being on or ticking should make them try to stop it. Yeah, and go into kind of like peaceful dormancy type of mode. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see if there's a trigger for that. Disaster. Has any disaster, has disaster progress. Okay, so that could be used, theoretically. What do you mean, Peter, by I think that writing up something original would work better rather than relying on something Paradox made? Yeah, it'd be better not to work with rivals because what really matters is you want to be able to compare the. Oh, wait, I know. I've got an idea. We make a composite for each continent tech level. So, like the average tech level on the continent. And then you compare the current tech level of your country with the tech level on your continent. Right? So, if we look at continents, they're generally MENA, Europe, India. So they're all kind of technically in the same tech group, so to speak. And that way we're avoiding all of the code that would involve having to check neighbors and then calculating variables from a neighbor to the country scope that's doing the calculation. It just gets too it gets too wacky. Orlands, can I suggest you some nice tools versus code or sublime texts? These two are far better with lang support. Probably, yeah. If you want to make some suggestions, then totally. I think that Ming is the only one who realistically want to appear. Let's see. That sounds good, Demian, but what about issues where a country is on multiple continents? Capital. What happens in New World, though? Does the native dump on the text of the New World colonizer? I think it would be, that's a good point. So what you need to do is you would calculate the average tech level based on individuals who are on that continent, right? Yeah, Thomas. Some regions have as few as 2 to 3 nations without being large nations. That doesn't really matter. I think to simplify this, we just go with the continental aggregation variables, which are based off of an average of all the countries who have their capitals on that continent. And you take the average, and then you use that as the variable to inform. Shouldn't be too difficult to do. Let's I think I did some of my tech related stuff. Let's see, what was this first off? Oh, this is how you used to have to capture a variable. We don't have to do that anymore, thankfully. So we can actually remove that if we so choose. And I will choose tech level. Okay. Let's admin tech. Okay, so here's where I would normally capture the variables. And also where technology informs historic innate fertility modification. Right, the higher your tech is, the higher your historic innate fertility gets pushed. That's one of the only things that really alters it in any significant way. Okay, so what we need to do now is, so right now we're in the every country scope. We need to switch scopes here in order to do the calculations we want. Actually, this shouldn't be a big deal. So every province limits, which has the province flag. I don't think it's been so long since I've fiddled with the code here. Continent. Oops, crap. Let me get the right flag here. Continent Food Center. Dangnammit. There we go. Okay. So all of the variables on each continent, because there's only 2 places you can store variables, right? You can store it in the country scope, which is this is a province scope. You can store it in the province scope, like so inside of a province itself. You can store variables there, or you can store it on the country level scope. There's a scope for each country that you can store variables in. We need to be able to store the variable for average tech on a continent, but we can only store it on a country level or in the province. So what I've done is, at the very beginning when I first started doing the pop mod, is I made little containers, right, on each continent. And so Paris, for instance, is a continental food center, which also means that Paris stores all variables that are relative to the continent of Europe. So that's why we're using this flag. And then we're going to have every province oops, which is part of the previous so let's see. Hold on. So then, right, so we're referencing the Continental Food Center, and then every province which is part of the continent of the previous scope, which would be Paris, Cairo, all of the Continental Food Centers, they will then do some calculations as well. So first off, we want to let me catch up on people's Oyukuda. It does. The way you improve state influence is you reduce autonomy as much as you can. That's the way you improve your influence. Let's see. So let me maybe weigh against neighboring regions as well then. No, I'm going to go with continents. It's just cleaner. I mean, a small nation should only care about tech on their region, and someone like the Mamluks should have an emotion for higher autonomy. Yeah, I agree. I think we covered some of those emotions. So, for instance, self-improver need to focus on improving AE. This would be a situation where you have high average autonomy and need to reduce it, and so that would be the emotion for that. But anyway, let's keep it simple for now, and then we can always go back and make a second criteria based on country size, and we could make it regional food center and region, and then we could run the same calculations. But start small to get proof of concept, and then we go from there. Let's see. Yeah, we use source tree. The whole why not use Git thing, let's say paradox. Okay, so I need to set a variable. We're going to make another aggregation variable. So tech aggregation. Taurus, I think you need you should need first off, you obviously need fish and port, but then you also should need some city infrastructure. Okay, so tech aggregation, continents, tech average. Let's be more descriptive here. Continent tech average. So this is what's going to be stored at the Continent Food Center and then dispersed to all of the countries later on. So we want no, we don't want every province, we want every country. What am I thinking? Every province, continent, Preve is capital equals yes. All right, so now we're targeting every province which is a capital and in the previous continent of the Continental Food Center. We want to also set this variable. This is the wonky way that paradox script works. And then we're also going to set this variable to, well, we're going to change this variable. If I'm not mistaken, I think the current tech value, let's go to the save game real quick. Let's go to Granada real quick. I want to see if I store the tech level anywhere here. No, I guess I don't. Let me save this real quick. Crap. I thought I did. Every owned province, set variable admin tech level to 0. Oh no, yeah, because I reset it, didn't I? No, I guess not. Yeah, so it's exported here. And then it is... Right, I see. So this is the variable that's exported to the province scope. So I need to... I think here... self-conscious now that I'm coding in front of a lot of people. So we need to pull these variables that we exported in the country scope. We need to get it down into the capital provinces. So the owner of this province needs to, this is where things get kind of squirrely. Set variable. No, wait, let me think. Let's do it like this. The owner of this province I got a better idea. Okay. So back when we're exporting the variables here, what we can do is we can set a new tech aggregate variable, total tech variable, or total country tech, or whatever. Declare it, and then we're going to go ahead. And we're going to add all the other text into this aggregate variable, and then we need to move it to the province scope. So now we're gonna take this. So basically, the foundation of what we're doing right now is we are creating data so that the AI has some things to think about. Nathan, yeah, that does seem to be an example of, hi honey, of the AI bankrupting itself too easily. Unfortunately, and that's a new phenomenon. Yeah, the Civil War has been buggy too, so it's unfortunate that Arumba had such an easy damn time. Unlike his province game. All right, so admin tech level, diplo tech level. Okay, so we should have a total country tech level. This will be stored at the country scope of every single country. Now we need to get that down. I wonder if we can just use capital scope. Capital scope is kind of weird though. Let's see. So here's our list of scopes. Capital scope. We could. Should be an easy way to do this. How about this? I mean, I even need to set variable. Oops. Equals continent tech average. Whoops. No. Let's first we need to set this in the capital scope. And then set it to owner. I don't know if that'll work or not. Let's find out. Let's comment this out. Kind of curious. So what I'm saying is that once we're in the capital scope here, we attempt to move this variable into the capital scope from the country scope. And we do it by setting the variable to the same variable that exists in the country scope. What's that sound? That's yeah, the sound in the background, if that's what you're referring to, is my wife playing Monster with Ellie. They go, row, row. They're both being monsters. Scary, scary monsters. Okay, so we gotta do a couple things here. So we're gonna fire this pop event. Let's see, and then we're gonna see if the variable is calculated properly in the provinces that we want. And so here's an example. Here's an example of how you test an event. What sucks about modding in with the Cloud Splits engine is you have to load the game every single time you want to test one stupid little thing. Okay, so we're gonna fire the events, and then we're gonna see if the variable transmitted properly. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Oops. Okay, let's load it up. Oops. So we their capital should be this ID. I think Cairo. And let's see, what was the name? Please work, please work. Oops. Where was it? Okay, here we go. Total country tech. No, it didn't. Does it exist anywhere? Total country tech. I don't know that. I must have made some glaring errors if that's the case. Diplo tech level. Okay, so what? WTF? What's wrong then? So these variables are exported just fine. Should be setting the variable just fine. Maybe this is the wrong save file. Let me see here. Did I screw something up? This is how modding always goes. Nothing ever goes the way you want it to initially. Sometimes it does, but okay. So now let's try a fresh save here. Good. We do have an aggregation variable. All right, let's try again. Must have just been a bad save. Come on. Total. No, where are you? You should be here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So we're making the variable that we need on the country level just fine. But when it comes to moving it down to the capital scope, let's try this. From within the country scope, we will, let's make sure we got the capital scope, okay. We will do this. Set variable. Oops, yeah, ugly. Brackets are all messed up. So from within here, total country tech, prev. So what's doing now is I put the capital scope, which is, for instance, Cairo. I put that inside of the country scope. Jeez Louise, see, every country. And then I'm setting the same variable in here, and then I'm pulling this variable from the previous scope, which is the country scope. Messy, but should work. It's been a while since I've done mass province to country calculations, so I'm a little bit rusty. And I'm streaming it, so I'm getting used to being self-conscious about it. So you can see, when you want to add in a cool idea, you can see where the time starts to get taken up. Because you realize, to do that cool thing, I have to do this thing, and then to do that thing, I have to do another thing, and you kind of end up going down the rabbit hole. But these types of diagnostic variables, I think, are really important in order to truly have a competent AI capable of using all of the pop features well. And that's something that's really important to me, so I'm willing to do it. It's also kind of fun. How do you do the thing? Oh, you hit Alt. Yeah. Alt, click, drag. Uh-oh, I hear crying. That's odd. 0? All right. Going back to lurking now. All right. Okay, let's fire the event again. See if it gets us what we want. Save. We want capital scope, which is in Cairo. Total country tech. Yay, we did it. We have moved the aggregate variable to the capital scope. So now we go ahead and uncomment all of this stuff because we're going to use it again. Oops. Except I should do it properly. So I don't have to worry about aggregating that variable at the capital scope. So instead, what we're going to do is we need to determine how many members of the continent are going to be contributing their input, right? Because we're going to want to calculate an average, right? So continent tech members. And then every province on the continents of the previous scope, which is also a capital, can then change the variable. Oops. Change variable. I guess I could just hit enter. Notepad's like, Damien, pay attention. Change variable, continent tech members. And then we're going to change that value by 1, right? So what that means is that anyone on the continent who has a capital there, so he's going to ping that, he's going to ping it, he's going to ping it, he's going to ping it. Each one are going to change that value by 1 until we have the total number of members who have their capital on that continent, right? Then we are going to set this to be total country tech. And then this, we are going to also send this value from each capital to the continent scope. Boom. Preview. That should work. No, that's not right. That is incorrect. We have to do a kind of annoying little thing here. Same thing here. Someone's probably mentioned that in chat, I'm sure. So what's actually happening? The previous scope, this variable in the previous scope gets changed by 1. This variable in the previous scope gets changed by this scope, the value in this scope, right? So this value then gets moved up here. It seems like an ass backwards way to have to do it, but these are the tools that we have. It's kind of, there's probably a better way to do it. This is just the way I kind of learned how to do it. What else can this total tech be used for? I imagine if the emotion is lazy, then the country's tech total should be relatively higher than others in the continent. That's true, Cowboy. So that an under-tech nation doesn't become lazy all of a sudden. Yeah, we'll have to think about that. This variable actually, I think, could be very handy in a lot of situations to inform the AI on what to do and weight their decisions. And remember, some of these emotions can be working against each other as well, right? So yeah, you're definitely right. I agree on that point. But anyway, so now we should theoretically, with this code, fairly simply create these two variables here. So we have the total members. All we have is a whole, this is not yet we haven't finished the calculations yet for continent tech average, right? Obviously, we need to divide it by the number of members. So this number right now would just show up as like 1,275 because it's just an aggregation of all of the tech that every single country in the entire continent has. So what we actually have to do is divide variable continent tech average by the total number of individuals who are participating . That should do it. But maybe not. The engine can interpret things a little funny sometimes. Oops. I may have to break it up a bit later. We'll see. Okay, so we'll save. We'll test again. I'll catch up on comments. Always make sure your brackets are closed. I still make that dumb mistake often. Okay. So, still astonished that people are watching the stream. Not sure if I'm going to be working. I might as well stream if some people are interested in seeing how modding works. So, I don't think that big of a deal. The sheer mass of capital should average out relatively well. Peter Weiss, in the mod, France shouldn't use up more points than OPM still. Not necessarily, Peter. The thing is, like, the thing is that if France is next to an OPM, they still get pulled up by the OPM's tech for being a neighbor with higher tech than them. But theoretically, we kind of, I would personally think that we would. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure. There may be a way to. Yeah, I'm thinking of ways we could adjust the calculation. But let me just make sure that this is working here. We can make it more sophisticated later. Oops, bugger. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. The sheer mass of capital should average out relatively well. I'm worried about the Italians always getting this if all the OPMs don't have tech. Because the vast majority of European capitals will be in the HRE, which should get crappy institutions. And remember, this diagnostic variable is mainly really going to kick in a significant way when a country is significantly behind, right? And then be, corruption. It'll also, this emotion will be stirred by corruption as well. Okay, so save my day. Okay, what say you guys to us clearing out our save folder? Bye bye, Empire of the Romans game. You were fun. Okay. Goodbye. Hello. Okay, so we wanted to check to see if a proper continental tech average was calculated. Oops. Cut. No. We have continental timber, continental food. So I screwed up somewhere. No, why is everyone saying no? Oh. I mean, will these emotions have a downtime, or can countries be multiple? They can have multiple emotions at once. That's kind of the point. So you can have two emotions, just like a real person can have two emotions about something and be conflicted, right? Oh, I deleted my Roman game. That's why everyone's sad. Yeah. Okay. What the hell did I do wrong? It's not that complicated. Why? Here, let's see if the variable even shows up anywhere. No. Okay. Every province, Continental Food Center. Continental Food Center. Which is a legitimate flag, I presume. As province flag, Continental Food Center. I set the pertinent variables, and then every province, which is in the continent of Priv, and is a capital. Damascus, Jonathan, what happened was I killed Mamluks way too fast, because they were going bankrupt for reasons I explained earlier in the stream. So if I do Damascus again, I'll try it again, but I'll do it with a functional Mamluks. I hate steamrolling over somebody because of a bug, How do you determine the gender of a nation? Ages will make it back in last resort. Yeah, we want ages to be more meaningful than just like, oh, here's a new bonus to stack with your billions of other bonuses. Next update, neural networks and MT2. Okay, so I gotta figure out why this is not working. Could you have made Paris Continental Food Center twice? No, I'm not making it. So Continental Food Centers are set at game start. Boom, that's part of the setup event, right? It never changes after that. And so all I'm doing right here is I am checking to see if it has the flag. And then every province which has that flag is in the same continent as that province with a flag is then checked to see if it's a capital. Wait, I have an idea. What if Peter, you were upset about a big country having too little influence or whatever, or like, little OPMs having too much influence? What if we just put this in, calculate this in every province, and then just have all of that aggregate. And so, long story short, what you would have is bigger countries would have a bigger effect on the average tech of the continent, right? So that's a possibility. Our question is capital yes? Why is this not showing up? Continent tech average, total country tech, continent tech members. So this should still, there. There's a way to highlight it, I don't remember. Total. Excuse me for being disgusting. So it should be setting, we should have continent tech average. Regardless, it's not continental. If original trial doesn't work, get a more complicated idea. It's actually not necessarily more of a complicated idea. The question is, I'm wondering why this isn't working. Last resort, make average tech biased on how long an institution is embraced. And maybe overcomplicating it. And tech level is an analog for the advancement of your institutions anyway, so. Right now, Jonathan, this is a matter of, so like what I'm doing right now is more of a matter of optimizing, I would say. Making sure the AI is properly using everything they need to use. Okay, so let's just have every owned province do these calculations. Right, we already have everything up there. Actually, do we have number of provinces as a variable? Son of a... No. No, we don't want that either. Human equals yes. Okay, so now we're going to the Mamluk country scope. I think we made a variable a while ago called number of provinces. Num. I don't know. What's that? I guess not. It's kind of lame. Oh well. We'll just do it like this. Let's see. Every owned province. Country tech. aggregation, total country tech. Every province. Yeah, that's population. That variable is population per capita. It's 1 in every province. So we don't need capital because it's going everywhere. Set variable continent tech average. Okay, we set it up here. Tech average, tech members. Yeah. Yuck. Working on, so sort of right now we're working on AI emotions and we're trying to create some data to inform those emotions. And so those emotions will act as an encapsulation of all of that data, which then can be used in a really easy way to inform AI decisions. And other members of the mod team can just use those emotions too to inform AI decisions, rather than having to redo those calculations every single time they want to make a check. But this happens to be a particular variable I'm glad Peter brought up, because this is a variable I've wanted to capture for a long time that doesn't exist in Paradox. I mean, as you can see, we've made tons of different variables that we can harness. This is just in one province, not including flags. Okay, so common tech members. Should work. Change variable. Previous, change variable, divide. Should work. See, what about this? For every province, multiply pop by tech level and then make an aggregate pop level. I was thinking of that, yeah, weighted based on pop, but now you could be wildly skewing the value based on major pop centers. So I'm a little bit leery about skewing it too much. It's really a compromise for the most part. So now this is a compromise in which you take the weight of a country into effect, but not super heavily. Last resort, that already happens. Can you make the AI go after weak neighbors like a player would? Already happens. It's called the predator scheme. I do have a solid state drive. Peter. In this case, he wants the AI to know whether or not it should be ashamed of itself. We're not doing anything with it. We're just making the AI feel like shit, that's all. That's what matters. We're fat shaming the AI. We're just middle school bullies. That's what we are. Doesn't need to be a purpose. The joy of seeing the AI cry tears of grief is our objective. Opening save. Okay. Let me make sure first. 361 should be Continent Food Center, but if it isn't, then oops. Oh, I'm an idiot. food centers are not where I think they are. So my previous calculations may have been just fine. I forgot that KJ. There was an engine bug we had to deal with, and we had to do all these crazy workarounds and make new provinces to store the variables in. It was a mess. I totally forgot about that. But whatever, this new system, I like this new system better. Oops. Okay, so we're looking for continent tech average. And we still don't have it. Saurabh, yes. So shame is supposed to skew an AI's decision making toward dealing with internal issues like corruption or being behind in tech, and slow down its expansion. And also, yeah, you know, how they deal with their estates too. Like, oh, I need to revoke your privileges. So why the hell do we not have continent tech average? Test. Continent equals pre should be valid. I know we've used it lots before, unless something has changed. Or maybe not. Continent. Oh, maybe it's not continent. Maybe it's... I don't know how we can find out. Let's open up our shifting modifiers. This is all of the... these are the shifting city modifiers. See, has province flag, region prev. And then there should be one for, here's, you know, that could, I see. Yeah, I know what the issue is. It has to do with when we made that switch over. Okay, I wasn't aware that KJ did it for continents too. Okay, so if we do this, oops. That should work. Technically, continent equals prev does work, but it has to recognize the flags that are there. Okay, this should work. Try this. So if the AI tech is below the average continental tech, then it feels more shame? Yeah, that's the idea. It has to be, so for instance, if it has an aggregation of multiple variables, so if there's lots of corruption sources and it's behind on tech and its autonomy is horrible, stuff like that, then it would either be self-conscious, which is like not too bad, and then there's shame, right? That's the idea. Shame. I'd play that scene, except I'm sure it would be like copyright infringement or something. Whoa, face cam. Shouldn't shame destroy prestige. Emotions will be rudimentary at first, obviously. But the principle. Demian, there's an exploit where you can upgrade the road in every province you own by improving it, getting negative 10,000 in your bank, and then going bankrupt afterwards. All right, we can fix that now pretty easily. Let's see. Let me just. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, I needed to pull up. There we go. It's gonna be really annoying if I can't get this to freaking translate. Yay, there. Now let's do an experiment. Oh god, make it stop. I bet there's a way to click these away faster. Okay, that was a bit excessive. Okay. Save. Yeah, these aren't supposed to be modifiers. Just a way to inform the AI. Low legitimacy equals low self-esteem. I mean, it's the same principle that, when you feel sad, you don't literally have more or less muscle or more or less brain. It's just, influences your decision making. Okay, so now I'm gonna check that average again. I don't know which container it's supposed to belong to, so I'm just gonna. Damn it! Come on. Oh wait, I didn't fire. Did I fire the event? Yeah, I did. So, oh no, gain 20 text. I'm retarded. There. Now let's try again. No. Well. Oh, you can use the C key to. Let's find out again. Oops. Cool. Learn something new every day. So my tech is high now. It should skew the average. So let's. Oh god. It should not be so difficult. So if we go to the Mamluks, country. Total country tech is still registering as 15. Maybe, you know what? I think I know what the problem is. I think the game itself hasn't registered. So it's exporting old data. Deming shame 004. Let's try it now. make sure the tech is updated first. Total country tech. Yes, okay, so now it is updated. So now we should see where is it? Continent tech average. Shouldn't there be a continent tech members as well? Still not showing up. Yeah, there should be continent tech members. Something's not working right. Oh wait, let me see if this flag is even being set in the continent food centers. WTF. There is continent tech members. So this one has continent tech members, but not. Continent tech average. So some have it and some don't. The what? Okay. When I fire this event, every country will set their tech levels, export them based on the vanilla variables, make an aggregation variable. This is all happening as intended, and then every owns province, which is a city, this is all irrelevant. Well, no, this is relevant. Total, yeah. Well, and every owned province will set this. Total country tech. So that's happening. But then we have every province, which is a continent food center. Oh, I think I know why. Yeah, I'm stuck on this for too long. I think I know why. There's some cross-contamination between well, no, not necessarily. Shouldn't necessarily be a problem. So sad. So sometimes you gotta murder your children and you just have to start over. This is normally so freaking easy. I don't know why. There. This is the same template that would normally be used. Okay, so what do I have? I've managed to make a country tech aggregation variable. I've then moved that variable to every owned province in that country. Oh, that's kind of stupid. Oh, every province. Let's do this. Let's go to the section where we assign continents. MENA is part of continent 5262. So we don't have to bump around all the time. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's just go directly to the Continental Food Center for MENA. It's got the test variable. Continent Tech members. So it has Continent Tech members, but it doesn't have Continent Tech average. Why? It set the test variable, which means that it also had to set the initialization variable. But if I didn't set total country tech, every province should have total country tech, because I calculated it up here. Oh, wait a minute. I may be wiping either of these variables. And the reason is because if it's targeting a wastelands, if it's targeting like a wasteland province, like out here, none of those variables are set there. So, but now it's only changing the variable. It shouldn't matter. Well, it is city. Let's see. Maybe this will help. It's only changing variable. This makes me sad. Code looks good. Divide variable which equals continent tech average. This is a legitimate variable. We've determined that. The question is, why isn't continent tech average showing up as well? Yeah, I'm aware of that, Euro Clancy. Right, so if I wanted to go back to Tech 20, I can just up or down. Yeah, Christopher, I feel the same way about Costas Belli. Could you make fabricated claims dependent on espionage ideas? It would be nice if it was just harder to, if you had to think more about getting good claims rather than just remembering to click. I should just replace previous saves and do it that way, but. So let's see if the wasteland interaction screwed things up at all. Okay, it was. So apparently the fact that wastelands were participating in the calculation, that's what seemed to have been screwing up the calculations in general. It was at some point it was setting continent tech average to 0 and then screwing up the whole thing. So I guess it works now. I thought there. Did he just say sometimes you just have to treat it like children? No, I didn't say that. I said sometimes you have to murder your children and start over and just have new ones. Before anyone calls Child Protective Services, I just want to verify that this is a literary saying. Murder your children, literary saying. Come on, Google. Kill your darlings, murder your darlings. It's a popular piece of writing advice that is often attributed. Let's see. Murder your darlings is a popular piece of writing advice that is often attributed to William Faulkner. Blah, 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 blah. Is a metaphor for how you should behave toward your writing while you are revising it. The idea is to proceed objectively and without sentiment, just like you would if you were to kill a loved one, I guess. But yeah, the idea is that you shouldn't become too attached to your code even when you've dumped a bunch of work into it, because if it sucks, you just need to get rid of it and start over. And that's one of the frustrations with doing it, being in a collaborative mod, is most people don't want to murder their children. So you end up with Renaissance events from 4 years ago that no one's touched, and which are horribly imbalanced. Okay, so I think we have proper tech average. Let me check the other scopes here. Okay. That's 5261. Where is that? Now I want to verify that we actually achieved what we think we achieved. Sub-Sahara. Okay, so that should be good. North Asia. Let's go to East Asia. 5251. Let's see what their average tech is. That's a little iffy. How could they have tech that high? This is I'll find out. Yeah. Oh, that's how we have tech that high. Because they start out with high tech. Okay, makes sense. Let's continue to verify here. Indian continent. Good. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we finally have the continent tech average composite number that we want. Yay! Let's see. Fasting. No, totally, Quentin, you're right. So if you're ashamed, you should fast. And the bloat. Right. Okay. Save bloat. Yeah, sort of. There's lots of ways we're going to try to reduce bloat. It's kind of complicated, though. We have a lot of issues. So, for instance, our distance calculation tool logs every single time you calculate distance, it logs that it happens, which is crazy, which means the save game gets horribly loaded. But once we get a proper distance calculation tool that isn't just a hack, then we'll be able to reduce that bloat. There's lots of other things too. A lot of these variables are just variables that we use to calculate things and should be theoretically set to 0. But the problem is it's way harder to test bugs at this phase without those variables existing. Because when there's a bug, we need to be able to go in and be like, oh, look, this variable is like a gazillion billion. That shouldn't be. That's the source of the bug. But if, uh-oh. What did they do? It froze. No. No. Oh, well. But anyway, you get the idea. We catch up on comments. Delete the gray share. Some people love it. Some people are frustrated by it. Guys, we just made a brand new thing. We all made a baby. And, well, okay. You're right. We just made a baby. Baby. Good baby. Good baby. You hungry, baby? Why are you crying, baby? Are you hungry? No. You need a diaper? No diaper change? Okay. What is wrong, baby? That's what modding is like, right? The bugs. You can't figure out what's wrong with your babies. Anyway. So yes, we have this variable. Yay! So what does this new thing do in practice? I was away most of the time you could. Okay, so what this continent tech average does is once we export it to the country scope, every country will be able to use this to compare to their own current technology, so they'll know how far they are behind compared to all of their neighbors and everybody else on the continent, right? This is the baseline. So then we can use this to inform AI decisions. So for instance, if their tech blows, but they have decent money, so if they are confident, that doesn't make confident but ashamed. So if they are confident but are banking, they have lots of what am I trying to say? If they are ashamed of themselves but they have lots of money, they can spend that money on education or building universities, and that way that will help them, get better tech and control their corruption better. Make sense? And it looks like Cowboy Dang explained reasonably well. So, okay, so now we have to move this to a country scope. Let's see. The lazy way to do it. There's a lazy way, computationally somewhat efficient. I'm kind of reluctant to do it this way, but the easy thing to do is just to go owner set variable, which equals continent tech average, declare the variable, set variable, which equals no, not the owner of this. That doesn't make sense. Scratch that. Okay. So the Continental Food Center is what has the variable. We have to get it to the country. Right. Yeah, every country capital, something about capital, which has a capital, whose capital province shares the continent of the previous scope, I think is what we're trying to capital. So capital, how do we? So province affects scopes in country, capital scope, no. So it only works province trigger scopes. Really? Nothing else for capital? No, we don't necessarily need to worry about the capital now. No, we do need to worry about the capital. Or do we? No, we don't. We just need... think. Check comments. I guess Quentin, yeah. So when you say once we get proper distance, do you mean that that is actually ever going to happen? Maybe. We may have heard some things at PDocsCon. I don't know. Maybe. I can neither confirm nor deny. How about that? Okay, so we have this handy dandy tech average. We need to get it to every country in a way that isn't wasting calculations. So if from this scope, we call every country, which is, I don't know if we have the code to do this. I got an idea. Let's try every. Because what matters is that the country has the capital. Okay, so every province limits. Use this criteria again. Is capital equals yes, right? Because that's what matters, right? What matters is that countries which have their capital on the continent are comparing their tech value to that which is on, which is the continental score. Oh. Comments. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to disable that. Oh my god. Okay, so from the scope, we're going to go ahead and set this variable. Oops. Okay, I'll fix it later. Continent tech average. And then we're going to set this to the value of the previous scope. Oops. All right. For all you people who want to learn how to mod, you use value when you're using an integer, and then you use which when you're referring to a different variable. All right. We don't need this. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so now we have moved this variable to the capitals on the continent. Now we want to move the variable from the capital up to the country. So owner of this province now sets the variable. We declare it. And we base it off of the variable in the previous scope. That should do it. Hey, Quentin, laugh if you want. Did you just say the lazy way to do it? The lazy way is computational somewhat. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm laying my heart out here, guys. What do you want from me? I quit. I'm done. Stop stream. Delete all files. Burn the repository. Get the local copy off of everyone's computer somehow. No more MNT 2.0 for anybody. Then let's set the variable here to 0 just so it's not clogging everything up. And let's make it prettier. Pretty. I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. Okay. Let's test it. So, once we're done, we will now have this super duper dandy diagnostic variable that we can use for all kinds of great stuff, and then we can finally move on to making emotions. Yeah. While we're loading, check the comments. I have the feeling that I'm becoming somewhat infamous here. Peter, you've been very helpful. Uh-oh, was I missing a closing bracket somewhere, David? Or did I fix it already? Let's see. No, I think we're good. Yeah, I was missing closing brackets over here, but I think now I'm good. Peter is because you don't have a photo. This is the letter P. Is really Rome 2. Liar. Rome 2 is not confirmed. Liar. I'm not gonna check. I'm not gonna check to see if that's. I'm definitely not gonna check on a separate screen. I absolutely, positively do not succumb to trolls. Absolutely not. Nope. Did not check. Did not fall for it. Nope. Let's just go ahead and save over what we got here. I should go hang out with my kids in a bit. Wife came home early. I'm gonna go to the pool, dinner together, all that stuff. Let me just I kind of want some closure here. I don't know if this is the right backup. Fuck. Maybe this is the wrong save. Okay, my tech is high. I use the pop event. Do it again just in case. Ooh, gain stability. Run the game a second. Save. Check the save. Checking the save. Come on, god damn it. Yes! Yes! Thank God. Thank God, thank God. Okay, so now we should rename some variables, but so total country tech. So we would be able to compare those two variables. Here, let's do this. Let's rename this variable to something that's more consistent. So see how we have continent tech average, continent tech. We want to change this total country tech to continents. No. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, let's not change it. Leave it the way it is for now. Great success. The consequence of that is MP values to max. Yeah, it's weird. Damien, I wasn't trying to tease you. I was just trying to see whether I was at the same place in the movie as everyone else. Okay, I got you. A little bit of ribbing isn't a big deal though. Okay, so now we have this handy dandy variable that we can use. So if we wanted to, we could prep the variable. We could prep the variable now, which would probably be a good idea. So before I leave you, yeah, I really should be documenting too. I need to get in that habit. Okay, so let's do that. So when other people, when I, get hit by a milk truck or something, people know what all this means. Variable documents, so the tech country should be self-explanatory, but who knows? This code block determines average tech of continents. So now let's set a behind text behind variable. And then we're going to set, this is really easy calculation, obviously. Which equals text behind. And then, right, we just set it to your current tech level, total country tech. And then subtract. Well, no, if we want text behind it, it should be the opposite, right? Oh, wait. Okay, Quentin, I'm going back. You have made me go back. And I'm trying to figure out what you mean now. The answer to what? Oh, am I super behind in the comments? Yes, because I scroll up pretty far to, like I won't obviously check the comments for like 10 minutes or something. So, okay, how about this? The feed is 15 minutes behind or something. So yeah, the answer is yes, I'm behind in the comments because I don't, in case someone gives some good advice or something, I want to be able to see it, and lots of people have given really good advice, so. Yeah, I don't think you're behind Quentin. And judging by your response right there, it seems to be pretty good. I just, I need to be better at filtering comments and not just responding as much to banter, because then it gets me behind in comments too. And I really want to be able to focus on a lot of, I want to harness the minds of all you people out there. Not only just for people catching errors, but for the creative part too, coming up with how to construct these, these ideas. It's been really helpful. Thanks, actually, everyone who's participated. Okay, so set variable text behind to continental tech average, and then I'm going to subtract that by, let's look at tech country. So if the value is negative, it means you're ahead. If the value is positive, it means that you're behind. And the actual value represents how far you are behind. So for anyone that bitches, what does text behind mean? Okay, so we're going to do one last test. We're going to load up a game that's where there's more disparity between tech levels. Damien, we love when you respond to banter. Okay, fine, I'll respond to banter. Let me find some banter. Floridian milk trucks are brutal. Yeah, although it's kind of nice because you're walking along in the heat and you get hit by a milk truck and they're refrigerated, so I mean you die, but you die comfortably at least. I guess we'll load up my Damascus game. So to recap, we fixed a couple major bugs in the early game for large nations and calculated an average tech per continent in order to work with emotions. And played with ponies, of course. Yeah, Cowboy. Yeah, that was pretty. It's fun. I like streaming development. It's pretty cool. A big worry, obviously, it's going to turn a lot of people off. They just want to watch a game. But it's helpful for the process, and I mean, some people find it interesting. So great. It adds a social aspect to it, so it's kind of nice. I like it. I gotta get better at staying focused on certain tasks, though, and not be so self-conscious that my viewers are tanking because no one wants to watch someone debug the same problem for 2.5 hours. Okay. So now we can take a look at our tech here. This is from my Damascus. Did I just lose everybody? That was weird. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Did I lose everybody for a second? Quentin, yeah, I think it would be easier in Twitch for sure. Okay, cool. Everyone's still there. Yeah, I think I do need to make the switch to Twitch. Like right now, I'm kind of torn because we need to be able to get most of the major issues out of the way before the official non-beta release. And sorting out Twitch and getting my new game developer thing in order, that takes up time, Thank you, Hans Peter. That makes me feel so happy and warm. Okay. Yeah. And it's funny, every time Ellie comes in and we have to play pony games, viewership goes down. That's kind of asshole repellent too. It's kind of, if little snowflakes can't handle seeing some ponies, it just offends them too much. That's too bad. And besides, gotta put my little girl first. All right, so now we went ahead and we fired that event. Okay, let's make a new save. Check the tech map. And let's see if we're getting the right results here. So Mamluks, absolutely horrible, because in my Damascus game, they were totally fucked. So their text behind should be significant, right? Oh, by the way, this is a separate variable I calculated based on absolute text behind, based on the year. Totally different thing. That can't be right. Am I still on the same? Good God. Mamluk's only 3 text behind? Well, no, that kind of makes sense. The reason it kind of makes sense is because everybody else sucks too on the continent, right? Everybody's got really horrible tech. What's going on? What is going on? It's pretty early. It's pretty early in the game too. So I think it just hasn't given a chance. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. People aren't that far behind. Yeah, that's right. It's just early in the game. The main reason that it looks like everybody's behind is because China starts out super high, and so they are skewing the entire color scheme toward shitty colors. But yeah, you can see. Okay, so that's right. So Mamluks are 3 techs behind relative to all of their neighbors. It's not bad. Yeah, Peter. What about having a few moderators? I'm behind on comments, guys. Sorry, but what about having a few moderators whose duties are not to moderate the chat, because that's not really required, but who can rapidly relay questions and feedback? That's a good idea, Peter. People who are able to filter through it, and then they have a special color. And then I can just look for the color. And so, I still want to be able to just kind of hang out with people and talk from time to time, but when I'm in focus mode and I need people to be like, Demian, you left out a bracket, then it would be nice if a moderator could just be like, oh, this is an important bit of feedback. So yeah, that would be good. That'd be good. So have him give out his phone number for stuff like that so we can just text him. One of these days, I'm sure I'm going to accidentally stream my bank account information or something. Or a separate screen. That could work too. That gets to be a bit... I mean, I have 3 screens. Right, you can see, kind of pretty good setup. But it's easy to actually run out of screens pretty fast. But yeah, that's a good plan. I guess that would be better. Oh yeah, Discord. Yeah. True. A separate window for Steam chat. Yeah, we'll figure out something that's better. I'm gonna, at some point when we're not trying to shape up all of the fatal bugs, so that Steam release is good. Once we're past that, then we can come up with a formal way to stream development more on a. I'll be continue to stream, but we can be more organized about it. Yeah, so we'll see. I usually watch at work. Okay. I may be streaming tonight after the kids go down. It depends. Well, maybe my wife and I might do something. I'm not really sure. We'll see. But thanks, guys. We fixed some problems. I'm going to go ahead and commit what we've done to the repository. I'm going to stage all these changes. Fixed early game bug where AI was taking favor decisions. Started work on emotions. Fixed a few localizations. Added brief Mamluk depression modifier to prevent them from overbuilding early in the game. Alright, so we're going to commit. We're going to pull everybody else's changes. And you're welcome, Spadkins. Thank you for the stream. Yes, I just did use the British spelling for localizations. Okay. Committed. That's all for now, guys. Gonna go for a swim with the kids and the fam, cook some dinner. Signing out from Florida. Later.